Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Pops Reviews back again with this is part 7 of the Pandora's Box 6 game list that I have with the Pandora's Box 6 wireless console. So yeah, part 7, if you want, you can go back through my videos to see parts 1 through 6. We're starting from S, and as you can see, this is quite a long process here. There's a lot of games. Like, if you look at the number for like Ryujin, let's just say where it's highlighted, you're seeing that's 835. I mean, there's over 1,200 games on here. You've seen there's a few duplicates, but I mean, it's not going to be where you know, like it's advertised as 1,300 games, but I mean, for sure, it's well over 1,200. Because I mean, I think we might have found maybe 10 or a little over 10 games. I don't think we found 20. So you're getting over 1,000, 1,250 maybe, let's say, games on here. So that's craziness. So yeah, so we're going to try and go through. I think we could maybe finish this today. I think we're going to try and finish this because I think the S's will be the longest category, and the T's, and then after U, V, X, Y, Z aren't too many games there. So I think I'm going to try and get through this in part 7 here. So let's get to it here. So we have SS Mission, a shooter. Never heard of this before. Looks alright. Like these shooters, I'm willing to play most of these shooters on here. I like shooter games, so they all look pretty good on at least on the screens that they have here. Sabotin Bombers. Looks like a kind of Mario Brothers type game. Not too sure how well that is. Samurai Aces, another flying shooter. Again, they look alright. They all I like the shooters. Samurai Nihon Ichi, old school fighting game, action game. Yeah, might be a little bit too old looking. Samurai Showdown, classic fighting game. They just re-released a new Samurai Showdown for the current consoles, so good classic fighting game. Always good stuff. Samurai Showdowns. Never really played them myself, but I will like to try and probably get into them on this system here. So they have Samurai Showdown 2, 3, 4, 5 special. I guess that is 5 special. I'm not too familiar with how far the Samurai Showdowns got, but yeah. So you have 5 special. Samurai Spirits, Zankuru Mosuken. Really practicing my Japanese with these games and their names. So never heard of this. I'm not sure if it's part of the Samurai Showdown. Well, I guess it is because it's showing the screen there, but it shows Samurai Showdown 3. So I'm not too familiar if that's part of the Samurai series or not. Sand Scorpion, another shooter. Looks good. San Kokushi, type of Mahjong game looks like. SAR, Search and Rescue. Never heard of it. I don't know if we're going to see any more screens for this or not. I'm not too familiar with it, so I can't really comment. Saturn Z, not too familiar with this either. Savage Rain, so fighter, looks alright. Looks like, yeah, SNK, I was going to say, it looks kind of like a Samurai Showdown graphics and that. Shimizu Robo, another fighter, well, not too sure about that one. Scion or Skyon. This, I'm sure there's a lot of better shooters than this one on here. Scooter Shooter. Not too sure about this one. So maybe one or two of these shooters are like, pass. There's so many other better shooters on here. Scramble. Really old school shooter. Scrambled Egg, 1983 Technos game. Not too familiar with this. SD Fighters. Looks alright. A big head graphic kind of fighter game. Maybe I'll give it a shot sometime. SD Gundam Neo Battling. Looks alright. SD Gundam Cycle Salamander, sorry. I think I remember this in the arcade, possibly. I don't know. Well, looks, yeah, play it sometime maybe. We'll see. Sea Fighter Poseidon. So another old school looking game. Search Eye. Maybe a game you can play with the kids, probably. Search Eye Plus. It looked like to be in English too, not Japanese. So that's pretty good, I guess. Secret Agent. I definitely remember this in the arcade. I probably played it maybe 1 or 2 times. Never really got far in it, so we'll see how it goes if I give it a shot on here. Section Z. Celfina. Semicom Baseball. So again, another baseball game. This one more with the Japanese writing and that. So hopefully you'd understand how to play it if you give it a shot. Sengeki Striker. Another decent looking shooter. Sen Goku. Now this is a classic action fighting game. This is a really good game. I remember playing this on the NES, Super Nintendo. Sorry, Super Nintendo. I remember playing this on here. Really decent game. Part 2, Part 3, Part 3 Plus. So this might be a duplicate here. Sen No. So I guess a type of Tetris type game. Sexy Parodies. So I don't know. Looks like some type of imaging in the background here, so not for kids probably. Yeah, it looks like a lady kind of bending over kind of thing. So yeah, definitely not for the kiddies. Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. Street Fighter 2. So yeah, we were coming to the Street Fighters here. And Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. So I guess why there's different Champion Editions, there might be people made their own versions of Street Fighter from what I've heard with these systems. So here's a game that you're getting multiple Street Fighters on here. So just a matter of what your preference is, what kind of version you liked. So they have the classic, and then they have all these different ones that people edited and made. So you can give them a shot. There's Champion Edition F3, B2, F8. I have no idea what those letters and numbers mean for it, but you got all kinds of Champion Edition Turbo, Champion Edition UA. So not too familiar with those, what those mean. Dragon 3, Evo, Rainbow. So those are maybe the creators that possibly made the versions of it. World Warrior VC, VE, World Warrior. I mean, these are all Street Fighters. So there's a game that you're getting a repeated game over and over there, but different versions though, I'd probably say, but definitely a repeated game. So then Shackled, not too sure of. Shadow Dancer, that's a classic Sega ninja game like Shinobi. Then you got Shadow Force, another classic one. Ninja, Shadow Warriors. So there's again quite a few ninja games. Shadowland, not too familiar with. Shanghai 3, it's another Mahjong game. Shaolin's Road, so this looks like a old school beat 'em up game. I might play it for S&Gs just because I like kung fu type stuff. Shinjin Samurai Fighter. Another old looking type of fighting action adventure. Here's a classic arcade one, Shinobi. This was definitely used to play this a lot in the arcade. Really fun game. And you got Shinobi FZ 2006. Not too sure what that is. Shippu Mahu Daisukian. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that right, but a shooter looks alright. Shock Troopers, another classic arcade game, like a Commando updated version. Shock Troopers Second Squad. Shocking. Not too familiar with Shocking as a puzzle game. Shogun Warriors, it looks not too bad. Shoes. I actually played this on here just for S&Gs, and it's alright, you know, playing horseshoes, throwing the horseshoes around. It's alright. I mean, it's a game if you want to kill some time, I guess. Sidearms, Hyper Dyne. Well, looks alright, I guess. Side-scrolling type of one. And you got Side Pocket, the classic pool game. Silent Dragon. Never played this, but looks not too bad. Silkworm. Never tried this. I usually like the up and down shooters. Like Silver Millennium. Looks to be alright too as well. Again, a lot of better ones out there. Simpsons Bowling. So they got the actual Simpsons arcade game here as the logo, but I guess this is probably you know, actual Simpsons Bowling, possibly. I'd have to check it out. Sky Adventures, not too familiar with. Sky Alert, again, another game not too familiar with, but again, they look like decent shooters. Sky Smasher. So again, like, you're getting just a ton of shooters, baseball games, Street Fighters, you know. Here's another classic, Slam Masters, a really classic one. Classic fighting wrestling game. Slap Fight. I don't know why they call it Slap Fight, but another shooter. You got Slapshot. It's kind of like the arcade. What do you call the game? I'm having trouble remembering what with the paddles when you play, but I guess it's like this is the arcade version game of it. It's gonna haunt me what the game is called that you play in the arcade with the paddles for the hockey. Sly Spy, that's like the Secret Service one from earlier. Small Bug, Ladybug, not too sure about this one. Small Pac-Man, again, a lot of Pac-Mans on here. Snapjack, not too familiar with Snapjack. Snapper, not too familiar with this one either. SNK versus Capcom, this is a classic fighting one. So crossing the SNK brand versus Capcom Street Fighter guys, so definitely a game worth checking out. SNK versus Capcom Super Plus. And then you got SVC Chaos Plus, so I'm not too sure what that is. Snow Brothers Nick and Tom. And they made a Snow Brothers 2 with new elves. Again, Snow Brothers 3, it was so popular that they went to 3. Then they got the Magical Adventure, so this is might be a duplicate. And then you got Soccer Brawl. This is a classic fighting soccer game. So definitely fun if you're not into like the more simulated one. This is this, you know, has a bit of the simulation, but you know, it's a brawler type game. So it's a lot of fun. I've played it before. Soul Divide, the Sword of Darkness, not too familiar with. These games, they remind me of the Nintendo games. What's that one? Not Kid Icarus, but I'm losing my mind. I'm getting older remembering some of these game titles, but some of them, they all kind of seem familiar, you know, type of gameplay. Solar Fight, real classic looking shooter. Wow. Again, there's so many other shooters on here. I definitely probably would not be getting to this unless you are really just like, I have nothing else to play, I'm going to play this probably. Or if you have nostalgia feeling, you know, and you probably want to, you know, give it a go. I'm not too sure. Soul Dam, not too familiar with. Soldier Girl Amazon, again a commando type game, I guess, a shooter. Solitary Fighter, not too familiar with as well. Again, there's so many other fighters on here, you might not even get to this one. Solomon's Key, sounds like a classic game. I don't really remember it too much, but the name sounds familiar. Sun. Again, a Mario Brothers type of game. Sonic Boom, another shooter. And you got the arcade Sonic the Hedgehog. It's kind of funny because I didn't realize Sonic, I'll get back to Sonic. I didn't realize Sonic the Hedgehog was an arcade game. I actually thought it was just a game that they made for the Sega Genesis to show off the, I guess, the speed of it and all that. And I thought this was just, you know, like a game that did that. But apparently it was an arcade game. So I was kind of surprised, like, hey, this is an actual arcade game. Then they have Sonic the Hedgehog 2 with Tails. So again, this is probably the arcade version of it. And then you got Sorcerer's Strike, and Sotsugyo Shoshu. Not too familiar with this one either. Space Battleship Gamora. Meh. Space Gun. Is there going to be a... Nope, no title. It's maybe an action fighting game. Some of these you'll have to check for yourself, I guess. Space Harrier, that's a classic Sega Genesis game. Space Invaders, another classic shooter game. So definitely, you know, some of these games, I mean, if you used to play them, good for the nostalgia to play it on here. They play really well. Space Invaders 95, so there's an updated version of Space Invaders. Space Phantoms, oh, just a classic, just an old school looking game here. Sparkman, never heard of Sparkman before. And then you got Special Criminal Investigation. So there's a game looking like the two cop guys. Was it Max and Lucky? I remember one was Lucky. I can't remember the other guy's name. But definitely it was definitely a fun game to play back in its time. Special Project Y. Never played this. Looks alright. Looks like a Space Harrier kind of thing. Spectral versus Generation Fighter, kind of looking like a Blaze Blue animation. I probably would give this a try just because the animation looks pretty good. Spectrum 2000, another shooter, looks alright. Speed Spin, so you got table tennis. So if you're into that, you could play some table tennis on here. Spelunker 2, never heard of that. Spin Master, traditional arcade game. Looks pretty good. I never really played them, but definitely fun games. Spin Master Plus might be the same game. And you got Spinal Breakers. So another action type game. Spinner. It's a old school looking game. It's Squash. So if you're into playing Squash arcade, they got it on here. Stack Columns. So they got a Columns game. Stadium Hero. Another baseball. Stagger 1, or Stagger I, probably Stagger 1. Stakes Winner, so they got some horse racing on here. Stakes Winner 2, more horse racing. Starfighter, the Space Invaders type game. Star Force, Star Jacker, Steel Force, Stinger, another class, old school looking game. Stoneball. So a beat 'em up kind of soccer type game, I guess. Strategy X. Wow, that's really old school looking. Definitely probably won't be getting to that. Streaking. Huh, I don't know what kind of silliness is this. Streaker, Pac-Man style. Here's the original classic Street Fighter. That's on here. Street Fighter Alpha, Warrior's Dream. So they got a lot of the Alpha stuff. That's pretty popular. They're all here. Alpha 2, Alpha 3. EX Plus. I wasn't a fan of the three-dimensional Street Fighter. I was hoping, just off topic, I was hoping the Tekken franchise was going to do more with the license when they had it, when they did the crossover, but they did nothing. So, oh well, I guess, so if you wanted to try Tekken Street Fighter, this would be it probably. EX2 Plus. Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, so we're getting more Street Fighters. Champion Edition M2, M4, M5. M6, M7, Red Wave, Champion Set Edition Set 1, Set 2, Champion Edition Too Long. I mean, I don't even know a lot of these different versions there. Hyper Fighting, I know the Hyper Fighting Turbo, and then you have the World Warrior, Street Fighter 3, New Generation. So that's on here as well. Giant Attack. Second Impact, Giant Attack, Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, Fight for the Future, Street Fighter 0, Street Fighter 02, 03. I'm assuming the zeros are like, they look like alpha, but I don't know. Let me know, I guess, if I'm right or wrong on that. Then you got Street Hoop. It's kind of like a NBA Jam type of Street Hoops game. It's not too bad. Then you got Street Smart, fighter, one-on-one fighter kind of game. I guess 2 players could play. I played it the other day. It was just more like 1 versus 1, but I guess you could have 2 guys going. Strider, definitely a classic arcade game. This is a really hard game, but the graphics were just amazing, and they still look really good to this day. And you got Strike Gunner STG. Not too sure about this one. Strikers 1945. So it looked like, you know, 1942 type game. And you got Strikers 1945 2, Strikers 1945 3, Strikers 1945 Plus. So this is probably the updated version, looks like. This might be a duplicate. Plus. And you got a classic Sunset Riders. That's on here as well. Looks like classic arcade game. Super Bagman. Looks familiar, but really, really old school looking. And you got Super Bashi Championship. No idea what this is. Look at all the stuff going on in this. No idea. Super Bubble Bobble. Classic arcade game. Really, really lots of fun. Super Breakout. Again, these kind of Arkanoid type games don't really play too well, but you know, for nostalgia's sake, it's always good to give them a go. Super Burger Time. I was never into the Burger Time games, but it's on here. Super Casino. So if you want to play, you know, VLT type game, it's on here. You can give it a shot. Super Cobra. Another old school looking one. Super Comic Hero. Not sure if it's really Super Comic Hero or if it's Marvel superheroes. Not too sure. I have to give it a shot to see. Super Contra. You got the classic Contra game, arcade version, Contra. Super Cup Finals, so soccer. Super Dodgeball. This was one of my favorite arcade games I liked playing in the arcade. It's on here. Really good. Super Dodgeball. This was the SNK version, Neo Geo one. I've just started playing this. It's a lot of fun as well. The graphics look better for this one, but I prefer the other one. It's a little, because at least you can switch the players. And this one, when you take the one guy, then you're kind of stuck if he's getting beat up kind of thing, which is, it's not, it could have been improved, I guess, but good game. Super Gem Fighter, a classic arcade game as well. Super Glob, Super Macross, another shooter. Super Mario Brothers, another game that I didn't know was an arcade game. I just thought it was made for the system, and finding out they were actually arcade games. Crazy. Super Pac-Man, again another Pac-Man. Super Pang, not too familiar with. Super Punch-Out, I remember this in the arcades. I think this used to have, you had to have the hand holders, and you had kind of the grips that you would use to play this one, but you could play it on the Pandora's Box 6. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, another classic puzzle game in the Street Fighter universe. Really, really good game, lots of fun. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 X, Super Ranger, Super Rider, Super Sidekicks, Super Sidekicks 2 World Championship, more soccer, the next glory. You got Super Slam Tennis, so you got your tennis on here. And then you got Super Slams. I think they made an animated cartoon of this game, video game, or maybe the video game was made first, the cartoon was made first in the video game, not too sure. But I know there is. Super Space Invaders 91, another Space Invaders. And you got Super Space Fortress Macross 2, no idea what this is. Another Super Street Fighter 2 New Challengers. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Super Street Fighter 2 Grand Master Challenge. So I don't know what the difference is with this one to the other, besides a Turbo. Super Trio. Never heard of. Super Volley 91. I've seen this game around. I'd probably like to give it a shot sometime, but I mean, so many games on here, guys. So there's Super Volleyball. So I don't know if this is the same game or if there's a second version. Not too sure. Super World Stadium, another baseball Japanese game. Super World Stadium 93. Superior Soldiers, not too familiar with. Superman is a classic game, arcade game. It's kind of funny to have Superman shooting bolts from his hand in this one, and the other guy in the red, I mean, he's supposed to be like a Superman too as well, but he looks more like a Captain Marvel, you know, Shazam looking guy. But classic game. It's still, I guess, a lot of fun. Super X. And you got Surprise Attack. Survival Arts. Not too familiar with. SWAT Police. Guys, we're coming to the end here at S. Swimmer. And Sayogichi no Tetsujin Master Tsuyugi. If that's how you say it. And I have no idea what this game is. So, guys, I think I'm going to actually call it here. That's 25 minutes of S's. Can you believe that? So, this is part 7. And, yeah, it's crazy. Now, as you can see, though, you're not getting a lot of duplicates. You're getting a lot of their own games, which is crazy, you know. So, it's going to be, you know, lots of playtime on here. Lots of different games and options. Yeah, and like I said, there's not too many duplicates, so except for a lot of those Street Fighter ones. Wow, my goodness, there's so much Street Fighter on here too as well. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, guys. It's a great system. And yeah, so there's not, you know, I'm just going through the list here. And you know, I'm not trying to make these lists too big of a video, just so it keeps your attention. So I guess I will start. S is its own category, apparently. So we're going to get to T. And I know, you know, like I said, once you get to U, V, X, Y, Z, there's not too many games in those letters. So we'll see how far we get with T and go from there, probably. I'd like to really try and finish the series off. It's been a long series already. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, you know, about the system, games, anything like that, if you want me to try a game out that you've seen just to see what it looks like, let me know. Leave me a comment. I'll try and post something up for you or reply back for sure. But I thank you for your time. Thank you for you know, watching these videos and, you know, getting an idea of what the Pandora's box is like. And yeah, hopefully next video will come soon, and we'll start with the T's next one. It'll be a part 8 for that one. So stay tuned. Okay, so thank you for your time, and we'll see you soon.